Hello folks, welcome to Partridge Lakes, not too far from Culketh near Warrington. Got my old mate Kristian Jones on the box. As you can see, it's a little bit on the damp side all of a sudden, Chris.
Very damp and windy now, isn't it, Tom?
What you done to it, pal?
Don't know. Don't know what's gone on. It's been a bit on and off all day, hasn't it, the weather? But
Right, it's stopped now, pal. We're not that unlucky, are we? Let's get in on that float, let's see what's happening.
see that. They're being very crafty at the minute. It seems like you get good little spells, don't you, where they're competing well. There you go.
Oh, there we are, look.
And you can catch them easily. And then you're obviously getting spells where you thin them out a little bit and it takes a little few feeds to bring them back and get them competing again. But say it's only the back end of March. Fishing's been good again, hasn't it, today?
Fantastic, mate. It's some venue, isn't it?
Oh, it's really good fishery in it. So many fish. Such a good stamp of F1 in this pool as well at Lake 5.
Let's have a look at that one. I mean, that's probably one of the smaller ones we've had today, as mad as it sounds. Look at that.
Yeah.
2.5?
Yeah, it's a good 2-pounder in it.
We've got 26 people watching, mate. Most of them are women, I can tell you. And me and you on it.
Want to get all the shallow fishing secrets? Is that what it is?
It is, pal. It is.
So, show you quickly what we're
yeah,
doing.
show us what you're up to.
Catching them quite shallow today. It's interesting, like the open match has been on. I've just gone and had a quick wander up as well to see how everyone's got on. And the top two weights in the match, Chris Weeder and Art Hilmy, they've both caught shallow, and they both said they caught quite shallow as well. So,
How deep are we there? What's that? About a foot?
yeah, about a foot deep. Little strung out rig still. That seems to be important today. If you bulk everything down, it seems like it's a little bit too positive, a little bit too aggressive. I don't think it's about, obviously, like the fall. I just think it's 3 shot all at once for when they pick up a little bit too much resistance. They're not feeding that aggressive yet. So, little strung out rig, little F1 shallow, like I say, a foot deep, little back shot. Lash is about a foot as well, so we've got fish, the total length of the rig's about 2 foot, so I can explore up to, you know, getting on for sort of 2 foot nearly with this rig. It's quite versatile. Got a little 18 Super LWG, double red maggot.
Beautiful,
And
beautiful.
it's been, even though we're catching it a foot deep now, it's just been a proper case of swapping about the depths, and we've caught anywhere from sort of that deep up to 18 inches. And we're just loose feeding some maggots, sort of down the middle or just past middle, and it's been unbelievable. Little
Hey,
rod.
What's that?
Been a few of them in on the action as
Well,
well.
Bob Nudd, we don't have many of them, pal. Quite an odd one, haven't we? But done well to get in amongst all them F1s, hasn't he, really?
I know, bless him. He must be hungry.
He must be.
Nice little rod.
So yeah, I mean, the other thing we've looked at today, which you lucky YouTubers have got a video coming out on, is meat fishing, isn't it? That's been very good.
Yeah, so obviously we're getting to that time of year now where meat starts to become one of the key baits at Partridge. Like, a lot of matches are won, particularly sort of beginning of the summer and in the springtime on this meat line short. Just catch such a good stamp of fish, and you hardly ever miss any bites or get any false indications, do you? Every bite's literally just bang straight down the hole and a big fish hooked in the mouth, so that's been good as well. But we couldn't resist it when we were seeing that was people catching shallow on the open match. Couldn't help but get the shallow rigs out and have a go.
You know,
Rude not to, wouldn't it, Tom?
Absolutely. And we've got a lovely little challenge, folks, that will be coming out soon as well, which can't tell you too much more about, but needless to say, Kristian failed in the last challenge we did. So he was keen to make, oh, look at that. He was keen to make amends, weren't you, pal?
I was. The pressure was proper on me. I felt like I couldn't bear to fail
You haven't been
twice
sleeping
again.
very well, have you, because of that last few weeks?
I know. I had to try and set the record straight, didn't I? But you'll have to find out whether I did or not.
Look at them.
Amazing, isn't it?
Just
But
fabulous.
considering probably about 10 days ago it was snowing, to be catching them this shallow on a chuck is madness in it, but it just shows it doesn't take much when that weather warms up for them to get an appetite and get back on the feed.
Something that a lot of people might wonder about. Look on his top kit there, folks. That's measurements, that is. So that's from the bottom of the top kit, which is down there, up So he knows exactly how deep he's fishing, don't you? That's the idea.
Yeah, and it's really important because you've seen it today, especially like at times you'll go in and you'll catch 3 or 4 quite quick at say a foot, and then you'll go and you're not catching, you'll deepen it off to 14 inch, and it sounds like, you know, 2 inch isn't going to make a massive difference, but you add that 2 inch on and you go in and catch another 3 or 4 straight away again, don't you, Tom?
Yeah, exactly. I've always thought 2 inch would make a massive difference myself, an extra 2 inch.
So anyway, flip the rig in, and I'm just going to loose feed 2 lots of maggots. Now, one thing you might notice is I'm not constantly slapping or tapping or anything like that, like you may do, you know, height of the summer. I think at this time of year you just want to be a little bit more stealthy. The reason the fish are there competing shallow, there you go, another one. The reason the fish are there competing shallow is because of the regular loose feed. It's not because you're slapping the rig, you're tapping it. They're all little tricks to, you know, catch quicker in summer when there's a lot of fish there. But this time of year, the most important thing is keep your rig in the water, loose feed, give it an odd lift and drop just to entice a bite. But that loose feed going through is really what they're after. After they've not really ate a lot of bait all winter, they're definitely ready for a bit of bait now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Cracking F1s, aren't they?
They're awesome, aren't they? Awesome fish.
Again,
Look at that.
good
That's
2.5, 3 pound, mate.
It's got to be, hasn't he?
Won't be long now, I think. This lake throws up some massive weights in the summer. You know, we can loads of weights last year, over 200 pound off this particular lake.
Would you say this one's the best one of the covies in terms of weights?
They've all got the days, but I'd say in terms of F1 weights, I'd say this is probably the best for up in the water, shallow fishing. This lake's probably the best lake, and I don't think it'll be far off where we'll be seeing one of them weights now. I know there's a golden reel qualifier in a couple of weeks, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if there was a real big weight off this lake, shallow.
You said to me, didn't you? I mean, I'm just sort of having a real go at this style of fishing this year, and I've been picking Kristian's brains. And he said, watch, he said, Partridge is the venue for the big occasion. He says, for some reason, it always fishes well on a qualifier, and lo and behold, that qualifier we fished last week, Chris, there was the top 5 all had £100, didn't they?
I think it was the top 8 all had over £100 on the weekend, so I don't know what it is, but it's one of them venues where it seems to thrive off there being some anglers on the bank and a bit of pressure. It almost, you know, it gets better, which is interesting really to say it is such a heavily pressured venue anyway. But when it comes to that qualifier date, it always seems to throw some weights up, and it's always a case where there's weights off all the lakes as well. So I think there was £100 weight off 5 different lakes, I think, between them 8 as well. So
yeah,
I think that's you know, brilliant fish. It makes for a good qualifying venue.
Scary good, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant, mate.
Scary
so good, and especially like a lot of the lakes have had a good top up of stockies as well this winter, so there's bites all around the lakes. Everyone's catching plenty of fish. So
just that little lift and drop, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's really important, because obviously if you just leave your rig completely static, then maggots has just sat there, say a foot deep, and they'd look quite unnatural. Whereas if you just lift it up, drop it in, just gets them maggots falling back past, and a fish might snatch at him. But again, the most important thing is just that regular loose feed. So lift, drop, but then get some more maggots going in. And if we don't get one, this chuck within sort of, if I have 4 or 5 feeds and I don't get a bite, or I feel like they've dropped a little bit deeper, I'll be straight back in, add another couple of inch on. See, I had a little sign then. I'll be just added, like I say, added a little couple of inches on, and hopefully keep in touch with them fish.
Yeah, it's definitely seemed to make a difference every time you've done it, that little change, hasn't it, today?
Yeah, that's what I might do. I might just nip back and add a couple of inches on now. Ooh. See, there's a few little rud there now. I'm feeling like them F1s might have just dropped a little bit deeper. So, just add a couple of inches on. So we're at about 14 inches deep now. Like I say, it doesn't sound like it makes a massive difference, but I know what they're like, these F1s. They can be very crafty, and we'll just drop that a little bit deeper. See, straight away there I've got a bite a little bit deeper. But yeah, this shallow fishing is definitely starting to come into its own. I spoke to Chris Weeder, who's won the match today, but I think he's had £129, and he's said it's come particularly strong for him last couple of hours shallow. He said he fished most put-ins.
Lovely, isn't it?
Definitely waking up now.
Well, we'll let you catch one more, and then we'd better go, mate, because we don't want to get kicked off. That's an interesting question. David Webb, watching from sunny Spain, he says, is Kristian going to upgrade to the AZ Pro anytime soon?
Do you know what? I might have already got one on order, mightn't I, Tom? Tom's been telling me for a while how good the AZ Pro is, and I couldn't resist, but I've actually got one on order, so when obviously they come back into stock, I will be getting one.
So there you are. You guessed it right, Dave.
Come on, we've got to get one now. Maybe they've dropped a little bit deeper again than what I went down to. Maybe they're down a little bit deeper, sort of at 16, 18 inch, which at times today, even though you can get a run of fish where you might catch, say, 3 or 4 or 5 fish quick at a foot deep, sometimes they'll literally just drop down to 18 inch, and you have to drop quite quick. So it's really important this, because I think a lot of anglers just presume that the fish have completely gone out the peg, and that you've got to go on a different line or just keep feeding and wait for them to come back. But I always seem to think you want to try and make it happen. You want to the fish won't go far from you, especially not if you keep putting the loose feed in. It's normally just a case that they've either dropped down deeper or come up a little bit shallower. So down to sort of 16 to 18 inch now. I'm sure it can't take too long, can it, Tom?
No, I think this is about the longest we've waited for a bite all day, which is the curse of the live camera, mate, as we know.
Always the way, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, starts raining and then we can't get a bite, which is unbelievable considering when you see some of these videos from earlier.
Oh,
there we are. Look.
There you go. They have just dropped a little bit deeper, as I thought, but
Freddie Brammer says, hi boys, I'm 14 from Northampton doing the Guru Talent Pathway. Do we know any venues down there? Well, I'm just trying to think. Northampton. I'm from Sheffield and Chris is from Warrington or Cheshire, so I don't think we're the best people to ask. No. Near Northampton, commercials.
Yeah, well, F1 style venues, is he thinking?
Yeah, Decoy's not a million miles away, Freddie. That's probably 40 minutes from Northampton. That's Peterborough.
Yeah, that's awesome fishing. It. We were down there practicing for the Winter League final, weren't we, last month, and fishing the Winter League final, and that was unbelievable fishing on there. And I imagine now it's warmed up, it's be phenomenal, won't it? Yeah. So there's Decoy, lovely. Another one, if you don't know if you sort of, again, it's a fair way from there, I suppose, but there's Alders Farm, which is Milton Keynes, which is probably half an hour away, 40 minutes from Northampton. That's a cracking carp venue. Not so many F1s though. But yeah, best thing I can advise, mate, is have a little ask around in your local tackle shop. They'll probably be able to help you, Freddie. Right, this really has got to be the last one, Chris, hasn't it? We've got to go. Yeah, I've got greedy, haven't I? I caught one, I couldn't help myself get back in.
You love it, don't you? You love fishing nearly as much as me, I think.
I know, especially shallow fishing. Obviously, been waiting for this to come good. See, they are dropped a little bit deeper now. Don't know whether, just because the light's starting to go a little bit now, it's gone a little bit sort of darker. And I think maybe that's why they've just pushed a little bit deeper. Because definitely when that sun's been out today, they've come right up in the water, haven't they?
Yeah.
Swirling and really feeding well.
That's it. We've got one last question about your shotting pattern, which we can actually conveniently show. But that's going to be the last one, because we have got to a couple of pictures and then we've got to go before the...
I'll have to try and stop myself for putting another 2 maggots on and going back out, haven't I?
Let's have a look.
Just slightly strung out.
There you are, look. What's that? 1.5 inch between each, 2 inch?
Yeah, maybe an inch and a half between. And all I tend to do that for, like I explained, is it's just to cut down on resistance. So if you have a really tight bolt like this, when the fish are feeding, even though there's a lot of fish there, they're not feeding really aggressively, if that makes sense. So if you have a real tight bulk like that, as they take the bait and go to swim off, they hit all three shot at once, and it's quite a bit of resistance, so they spit it out and you'll miss a few bites. So if you are missing some bites, just spreading your shot out just slightly like that just means that they're only touching one shot at a time, and that obviously stops you from missing some bites. It just works really well when you're shallow fishing and they're being a bit cagey.
There you are, folks. Keep an eye out on our members channel. We've got some great videos going on there with Chris from today, and we've also got some videos going on the main channel as well. Chris, thank you for that, mate.
Thanks
Awesome.
very much, Tom.